We all realise how important shareholders are to allow us to do what we love.
I've been in the business now over 15 years, and it's the time when you spend talking to shareholders that is the most rewarding, because they're the people we want to make a difference for.
We can create whatever we want. We have a phenomenal opportunity to change.
I am noticing more and more our investors bringing along that next generation, whether it's their children or their grandchildren.
In our game, it's the highest quality of information tends to win. So what we've been able to do is add these areas of expertise. Hey, I'm the old guy. I do very little. It's everyone else in the organisation is doing a lot. And we've got enormous depth. Each of them feed on each other in terms of providing high quality information and adding value to each other. To me, I think listed investment companies are the holy grail of investing, because you get an opportunity to buy $1 of assets for potentially 80 cents. You've been with me for 15 years. We've done it before, we know how to do it, and that's what we'll be able to deliver.
Just fostering a really healthy culture of teamwork, staying focused on our shareholders, and it's exciting. I think the next few decades will continue to be an exciting time for us. So today it looks like Trump's out of the White House. I'd love to start with, what does that mean for the market?
Assuming Biden wins, which it seems a foregone conclusion now, even though there'll be some legal wranglings, eventually sanity will prevail. And so we'll have a Democrat in the White House. And historically, Democrats have been good for equity markets, which is a little bit counterintuitive, you'd think. But they're big spending. So to me, it's probably interesting where the Senate, the Democrats won't get control of the Senate. So that probably puts a nice check and balance. It could inhibit a lot of what Biden wants to do. So, the big spending part of the Democrats might be controlled to a degree. So I see it as positive, and to have someone else running the free world or being, then I actually think it's significantly positive for society.
And here in Australia, obviously, interest rates are at record lows. Do you think, rates will be lower for longer? What does that mean for equities here domestically?
I mean, it looks like it, and the comments from the Reserve Bank the other day about the quantitative easing strategies and dropping interest rates to 0.1%, really means that real assets will be highly sought after, and just globally, the sort of flooding of liquidity into the system has to be positive for real assets, and obviously equities beneficial for equities.
So Geoff, just thinking about Wilson Asset Management over the last 2 decades, it's obviously grown a lot. What's changed in that time?
In terms of investing, what's been important to us all the way through is having that interaction with management, so we can really understand how a company makes money. And then we value a company, and then we find a catalyst that we believe will change the value of that company for the positive. Now, so effectively we're looking for undervalued growth companies with a catalyst. And that gets modified in terms of what lens we're using. We started off focusing on really areas that, when I started in the funds management industry in 1980, we were focused on, and that was small and mid-cap industrial companies. And as time has gone on, we've been able to add to that level of expertise. And we've got Oscar, who's the lead portfolio manager on that area, with his team. Then Matt, who really had an expertise in looking at larger companies, and really a fantastic ability to look at macro trends. Was very interested in setting up a large cap company, which is WAM Leaders. So we went from WAM Capital and the various entities to WAM Leaders, and that was highly positive for the business because we had people now. There's 3 people there focusing purely on the larger companies and getting access to high quality information that everyone in the organisation could use. And then Katrina, who had worked with us earlier in the early days, then she'd come back from overseas, wanted to set up a global fund and joined us. And now we've got WAM Global, which again is another level of information we get, which as you know, Kate, but other people mightn't. We all sit in an open plan office. It has been a challenge with COVID, but everyone's coped with it exceptionally well in terms of how we can communicate. So it's really sharing that information. And then more recently, we've had the opportunity to take over BAF, and is now the WAM Alternate Asset Fund. And Dania, just a high quality individual in that alternate asset space, has joined us. And again, that gives the whole organisation really access to another higher level quality of information. So in our game, it's the highest quality of information tends to win. So what we've been able to do is, in a logical manner, add these areas of expertise, which actually feeds on the whole organisation. Some people say, "Oh, look, you're doing a lot." It's all very logically planned out, and actually it benefits everyone. Also, personally, as an investor, it's allowed me. I virtually had no money in offshore assets, so it allowed me to put money in WAM Global, and people will see I've been buying them more recently because they're trading at a discount NTA, which is a great opportunity. And then with WAM Alternate Assets, it's another way of getting exposure to another asset class, which doesn't work like equity, so it gives you a nice level of diversification. And I've been buying them because they're trading at a discount. So to me, it really is. I think we've got a really good group of individuals, and the areas that how we work is very much feeds, each of them feed on each other in terms of providing high quality information and adding value to each other.
So WAM Alternative Assets is the newest addition to the LIC stable. The business has grown a lot. We often get questions from investors around that growth. We're obviously always adding new members of the team. Can you just talk to me a little bit about that, Geoff?
Yeah, and I think over the last 12 months we added 15%. We've increased the team by about 15% in terms of personnel. I feel flattered that when I talk to people, they say, "Oh, Geoff, you're doing so much." Hey, I'm the old guy. I do very little. It's everyone else in the organisation is doing a lot, and we've got enormous depth. So the area I tend to focus on would be more activist. So maybe that's why they think that I'm doing a lot. And if you think I've been doing a lot over the last few months, what was I doing last year? Virtually nothing. So to me, I do that, and I tend to look at listed investment companies and the ones trading at discounts and trying to work out whether there's any opportunities for us there.
So just on listed investment companies, you've spoken before about the golden decade of listed investment companies. They've been around for over 100 years. We're now in what you've described as a consolidation phase. What do you mean by that?
With most industries, you'll go through a strong growth phase, and then after that you'll go through a consolidation period or consolidation phase, and that's where the strong get stronger and the weak either get absorbed by the strong players or fall by the wayside. And it's just how industries tend to develop over time. Now, with listed investment companies, there was another period back in 03, 04, which was a strong growth period for them. I think there were 20 plus new IPOs in a 9-month period, really a short period of time. And then, 3 or 4 years later, they went through a consolidation phase where some were taken over. We took one over, or some had decided that the structure wasn't right for them. I think what a lot of people they think, oh, we want to have a listed investment company. To me, I think listed investment companies are the holy grail of investing, because you get an opportunity to buy $1 of assets for potentially 80 cents. Now, to me, it's nearly unbelievable that could be the case. And the reverse is, with most of ours, you're paying more than $1. They're trading at premiums to NTAs. The two of our entities that are trading at discounts is WAM Global and WAM Alternate Assets, and we're pretty convinced that over time, they will go to NTA if not a premium. But there is a great opportunity, and what happens is when people list a listed investment company, they don't realise that when you list, they think, well, they've got to the grand final. That's just the start of pre-season, and there's a lot of work you need to do once you're listed. And so people think, oh, great structure. The fund manager, I'm going to list, I'm going to get a pool of capital that he believes is permanent, which it is not. Because it's the shareholders' capital, so it can be taken away at any point in time, and they have to perform. And we've made 2 takeover bids recently for listed investment companies that we had bought $1 of assets at 80 cents, and then something had happened that we believe wasn't in shareholders' interests, and we'd taken that opportunity to make takeover bids for them. So you'll see the number of listed investment companies, I think, shrink. And what I've noticed, over the last little period, that even though, go back a year or so ago, the discounts were quite large. The discounts are narrowing, because they are great investment vehicles, and over time they perform. And if not, they probably perform. A lot of the studies show how a closed-end pool of capital performs better. A listed investment company performs better than other types of funds.
And just on a listed investment company, what do you need for a listed investment company to be successful?
Yes, well, the first thing is performance. The second thing is, the great thing about the structure is the listed investment company has the ability to pay dividends to shareholders over time, so you can deliver a growing stream of fully franked dividends. And I'm sure yourself, like myself, I think everyone at Wilson Asset Management, we're very incredibly pleased that in this period where companies are cutting their dividends, we've been able to increase our dividends on nearly, well, I think WAM Capital, we maintain it at a very high level, but most of our other listed investment companies we've been able to increase, and give dividend guidance that we think we'll be able to continue increasing. So the second thing is being able to give shareholders a growing stream of fully franked dividends. The third thing is treat shareholders with respect, and that's, when you're raising money, do it so it's in all shareholders' interests. And one of the companies we bid for recently, had a capital raising at a big discount, which was incredibly unfair for all shareholders. So that was the catalyst for us to bid for that company. And the fourth thing is to really have a good shareholder engagement, communication and marketing strategy. So to me, they're the 4 things. And a lot of people, they miss on the last, on the third and the fourth one.
So Geoff, you talked about with listed investment companies that they can trade at premiums, they can trade at discounts. Can you give me some examples of where perhaps one of our LICs has moved through that cycle? Well,
I suppose the first one we floated, which was WAM Capital, in the first 2 years, we did an IPO, raised the money at $1, the first 2 years, we paid significant fully franked dividends. I think it was 12 cents the first year fully franked and 14 cents the second year fully franked, and performed very well. We were still trading at a discount to NTA. And what you tend to find, it takes a period of time for the share registers to tighten up. Once you're listed on the stock market, for some reason, people that have bought in the IPO, they change their mind or they decide to sell. And it takes a little while to effectively get your tribe and the people that realise they want to invest in what you're doing. And it really took 2.5 years for WAM Capital. In the first period, we were trading at a 20% discount. So over time, the share register tightened up, and probably 2.5 to 3 years out, we went to NTA and then went to a premium, went to a 20-odd% premium. I know now we're trading at a higher premium than that. So, the share register is probably a bit tight from that perspective. And probably more recently, WAM Leaders, which was our second most recent IPO. That took a little period of time for the good performance from the guys, the increasing dividends, and then you tend to find the share register tightening. Say a year ago it was trading at a 10% discount, now it's trading at a premium. And you'd assume the premium will slowly increase as they continue to perform. And I suppose the more recent one, our more recent IPO, which is WAM Global, that's just going through the exact same process. We've started the dividend. Actually, just at our recent board meeting, we were at WAM Global. We were just talking about how pleased we are in terms of that big profit reserve we've got there. So we've got to look at whether we give shareholders guidance and the plan on growing that dividend over time. So you'll find WAM Global is trading at a discount now. I would assume that'll, in the next period of time, that'll go to NTA, if not a premium. And the more recent member of our family, which is WAM Alternate Assets, that is, we took that over when everyone knew that we were coming in as the manager. That was trading at about a 30% discount to its assets. It's trading at around a 10% discount now. I'd assume as we get our feet under the table and people realise how good Dania is, who's our portfolio manager, will be responsible with that. That'll get to NTA, if not a premium. So it is a process, and you've got to be aware of it. And as you know, you've been with me for 15 years. We've done it before. We know how to do it, and that's what we'll be able to deliver. The problem is a number of other people that decide to float listed investment companies aren't prepared to really commit significant resources. Like in terms of that shareholder engagement communication team, we put a couple of $1 million plus a year into that. So, and that is a cost to us as the manager, but a benefit to shareholders that they can get a true reflection of the value of their assets.
It's interesting. I'm just reading a book at the moment about building good habits and about doing all the small things over a long period of time. And I was thinking a lot about our business and how over the last 2 decades we've continually treated shareholders with respect. We've always loved engaging with them, and it's all those little things. It's making sure that the number of times I talk to shareholders that say, I called the office and Geoff did call me back, or I spoke to you, Kate, at one of the road shows. If you remember, I've got a question, and to be able to give them our time.
Yes.
And to be able to give them the opportunity to, ask questions, provide feedback, take that feedback on board, and as you said earlier, the corporate affairs team, we're continually, adding people to that team. They're very, high quality, professionals who take great pride in how we communicate with our investors. Whether it's the stock stories and views on the market or writing submissions, to government. There's so many different ways that we think that we can, engage with our investors. So, it's just so important, isn't it?
100%. Yeah, and to me, it's effectively it's so fundamental and so logical, where so many boards, they think they're on a different plane to the shareholders, where we understand, hey, we're shareholders like them, and they are, they're investing in the market like we are. And the difference is we spend every hour of every day thinking about it, and they mightn't spend that amount of time. And I'm sure a lot of our shareholders, if they spent every hour of every day looking at investing, they'd be probably better than us.
Just you mentioned WAM Alternative Assets. There's about 3,000 new shareholders to the Wilson Asset Management family. What would you like to say to them?
Well, first of all, welcome. What I find, and I think you mentioned you find, is when you engage with new shareholders, I remember a story, when soon after the GFC, when we made a takeover bid for Premium, another listed investment company that was finding things tough at that time. I was ringing the top 20 shareholders, and I remember ringing one of the shareholders and saying, look, it's Geoff Wilson, I'm chairman of WAM Capital, it's made a takeover bid, and he was incredibly sceptical of why was I ringing him. Am I trying to persuade him? And I said, look, your choice. You can either accept cash and leave, or you can become a WAM Capital shareholder. It's totally your choice. And he was highly suspicious. And I said to him, look, when has the chairman of another company rung you? And he said, never. I said, well, so you've got to give me some points for that. And with all the new shareholders, the 3,000 it will be a journey with us and them. First of all, we've got to perform. We need to be able to make money so we can provide a stream of dividends. Obviously we need to treat them fairly and with respect, and we need to engage with them, and that'll really, we hope that they give us an opportunity, because we believe that over time that we'll be able to really deliver some good returns for them.
In terms of growth opportunities in the business, obviously alternatives is a big growth opportunity. Where else do you see the business growing?
To me, the great thing about the market and any business is, well, you need to be growing. Otherwise, if you're not, you're going backwards. That's what everyone tells me. In terms of opportunities, it is dynamic, and we are opportunistic. So by nature, and flexibility. What I've always learned in investing, flexibility is one of the most important things. We think the WAM leaders area, the guys, Matt and his team there, have done an exceptional job. We believe that can continue to grow. As Katrina continues to perform, with WAM Global, that's an area that can grow. Alternate assets, that's an area that can grow. And if we can get really good, high quality individuals that can add value to the whole organisation, then as you know, Kate, we're always looking. We're always looking for those, and if we can provide an opportunity for them, because I mean, when I'm doing interviews with people, I'm more interested in what they want to achieve, and trying to work out what their drivers are, and because to me the beautiful thing, or the phenomenal opportunity we have, is we can create whatever we want. Effectively, we can paint whatever picture we want. So, to me, it really is. We have a phenomenal opportunity to change.
All right, Geoff, well, it's been great chatting to you this afternoon, and looking forward to the next few decades at Wilson Asset Management and seeing how we continue to grow and evolve during that time. So thank you.
Look, thank you, Kate. And before we leave, I'd like to ask you a question now. I know it's been a conversation. So you've been with Wilson Asset Management 15 years. You're CEO. You've done, as you've been CEO, the organisation has just grown and prospered. Tell me, what is the secret?
Look, it's the people. We're all on the same path. We're all wanting to make a difference. We have got, I always say we've got the best shareholders. We've talked about a number of stories this morning. As you said, it's painting that picture of giving people opportunities to, perhaps do a new product or list a new company. It's really exciting, and I think just fostering a really healthy culture of teamwork, staying focused on our shareholders and treating them fairly, standing up for them where we can, continuously looking at better ways to communicate and engage with them. I think they're all the parts that make it a great company, and it's exciting. I think the next few decades will continue to be a exciting time for us.